RPL's return to China for Tier 2 is the weekend where the Drivers and Constructors Championship can be won. Last week, it was J&T Gaming, the championship leader, taking his second career win. JTK stood on the podium to do just enough that he can to stay in this title race. As for Ferrari and Mercedes, they've swapped the lead once again. It's not the first time that's happened this season. It's happened multiple times. While Red Bull and McLaren are third and fourth, they're still in this race, but the question is, can they stay in this race enough to win it next week in Japan? Welcome along, folks. I'm your commentator for tonight, Ryan Searles, and it's great to have you all join us, whether it be from the Twitch chat, whether it be from driving, whether it be maybe in the commentary box later. I might have Miniko here, but for right now, I am by myself, so it's great to have each and every one of you join me for round number 10 of the season, of the 11-round season. We're looking at possibly the first time an American can win the Tier 2 championship. We've had F1.5 champions go on to win in Tier 2, such as Hunted, but he went on to win races, not a championship in both. Jack Miles won a championship in both. And as for a driver like Gecko, he's won races in both. But in terms of Tier 2 being separate from the original F1.5 series, we've not had a title race like this where it's so intense for the first half of the season, but it doesn't continue for the second half of the season. The only thing that continued for the second half of the season has been the Constructors race. And this should be tons of fun. 28 laps around this circuit, a circuit that a lot of the drivers don't always love, but is really, really killer on the tire wear, on really just the drivers itself in terms of when you want to race side by side, when you want to battle, what do you want to do here. Traction zones are going to be tricky. Track limits, not as much. There's a lot of things to talk about in tonight's race. So far, we got 18 in our lobby. We're expected to have 20. We're just missing a Red Bull and an Aston Martin. The Aston Martin we're missing is Joe Wilson. We'll talk about some changes in headlines and whatnot, but welcome along, everybody. So lobby start is in 2 minutes. But either way, let's just check if anything has changed in lineups. People, nothing has changed. So let's go through some changes, headlines, penalties, our usual that we usually tend to go through here in RPL. So we've got obviously a big championship race that we're talking about. We'll talk about that more into qualifying. But as for our drives for next season, there's been quite a bit confirmed. And if I'm correct, there's only one Williams available for the current seats. Red Fire Tiger is the other Red Bull missing, by the way, just for further context, folks. But yeah, we have quite the grid for tonight. Speaking of the grid, let's talk about it for next season with new drives signed up, new drives contracted. We've got Make PK going to be full-time for Williams next season. You've got Red Fire Tiger alongside Nathan Richards at Aston Martin. You've also got Wavy being confirmed at Mercedes for next season as well. Bino is full-time McLaren. And also, just want to leak some news. Not going to get too much into this because I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But next season, the opening round will be the same for Tier 1 and Tier 2. We're also going to be getting a third tier of RPL in as well, it looks like, next season on the next game. Same round as the other tiers for those. The only thing that will be different is F2. Speaking of F2, I asked if we could get George in here to talk about F2. He mentioned that it's a possibility that he can come and join us for one of the last 2 rounds of the season in either tier to talk about F2. Apparently, there's an F2 calendar already confirmed, but yet to be released. I've not seen anything of this, but this is according to George's word that he has stuff figured out there for F2 for the next game already, which is great to see. F2 is getting a lot of attention right now. F2 is really on the rise compared to where it was supposed to be in the original Season 19 start, when we only had 13 or 14 signed up after Season 18. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Not only is there that, but here's some things to end off the season that we have for headlines, changes, things you need to know to keep up here with RPL. So Rapid Owen is now full-time in the Haas for the remaining 2 races. Lajovic dropped from being full-time. We also had Zatsi, also known as Merton, who left. He left the league once again. Dil JG will be taking over that Ferrari for the final 2 races. Dil JG, also known as a IndyCar F1 type of YouTuber, full-time in that Ferrari. Good to see him, the man with 20k subscribers. Hopefully he can add something else to his name besides those 20k subscribers that he has. Joe and Mentoki, Joe Wilson and Mentoki, this is, swap seats for the final 2 races in order to boost Mercedes' chance for the Constructors' race. A lot of things to talk about with that, by the way, guys. Ferrari are 7 points ahead of Mercedes heading into this weekend's race in China. And we could see the Constructors clinch this weekend, but a lot has to happen. We could also see Red Bull and McLaren knocked out of this race. They're 40 and 49 points back from our race leaders, Ferrari. JTK and JNT, guys, the championship gap is 52 points. The championship should be wrapped up tonight, unless something catastrophic happens. For qualifying, we have 18 taking part as of the current time and moment. One of those drivers in here will have a qualifying ban to serve. That is Dom. He's back from a race ban. And here are some drivers who are in here tonight, either on loan or reserving. Just going to see if there's any rain first. Doesn't look like there is, but it's very, very cloudy over the circuit. Do we have any rain aboard us tonight? I'm looking from our championship leader screen, JNT Gaming. I think there's a big possibility for it, but I can't see it right in front of my eyes. JNT, come on, click session info for me. I would like to see this. Okay, so no rain in this qualifying session in the next 5 minutes. Let's see. Dom obviously serving as qualifying ban. Nathan Richards going out on track. Let's talk about our loans and reserves, folks. We've got quite a few of them and some drivers missing. Red Fire Tiger and Joe Wilson are the only 2 drivers who are supposed to be in here who are missing. But as for our drivers in here who are not usually in here or just reserving or whatever it may be, loaning, we've got Bino in the Red Bull. We've got FBL in the Alfa Romeo, and Vade is missing another one tonight. Blue Gagi on loan to AlphaTauri. We've got SV on loan to AlphaTauri. And Frosty Life making his RPL debut in the Alfa Romeo. Currently, the only one out on track, now make it 2 out on track, is Nathan Richards and Tadpole right now. I don't see any rain in qualifying at all. I'm trying to figure out if there's any for the race. Yeah, I don't see any rain. I'm trying to look from JNT Gaming's point of view here if there's any rain at all. He's not showing that there is. Unless I must have clicked off of it. Let me turn down the audio. Holy cow, that is loud. At least on my end, it is loud. Alright, folks. No rain for the race. I've just been confirmed. All right, there we go. Perfect. First lap on our hands will be the Williams driver of Nathan Richards. Last week, he took his first points. 1 point to his name. The Williams driver. He was racing in Aston Martin last week, and you want to take turn 1 very careful here into turn 2. Only go 3rd gear here. You don't want to go to 2nd. This is very tricky on traction. Rotate this corner beautifully. Lots of different lines you can take out of the exit of that corner. Luckily, the Ferrari there getting out of the way. Now down to turn 6. Ricardo made a dive bomb move here on Valtteri Bottas to win the race in 2018. A lot of moves we might see there tonight, but heavy braking for that corner. Now right here at turn 7, you don't want to touch the inside curbs. You want to get very close to them, but you don't want to touch them. them. Same thing can be said for turn 8 right here. Very, very slippy, these curbs. These curbs are very slippy around this racetrack to the point where you either will slip on them and go sliding, or you will get stuck on them, just like you could here out of turn 10. Very tricky for the drivers. This should be one of only 2 places you might exceed track limits. Now going down to turn 11, he's got a 52.0, completing the sector split. Right here, you don't want to go to second, but you want to shift down to third. This is so hard to get back on the power here at the full right. We've seen spins here from second place while the driver was chasing first place. It was FGE Stenner, the one in the most recent China race here in RPL. That was the one Lewis Walker won. Now going down this back straight, lots of slipstream to be picked up. Might see some toes from some drivers. Might see as well drivers reaching over 200 miles per hour, which I think we just saw Nathan Richards just break. Heavy braking in that hairpin there, which is 2 corners. Final corner, very tricky to navigate, but can be very easy to pick up track limit penalties for. Across the line, he's our benchmark time with a 32.5. Our next driver across the line will be the AlphaTauri of Bulgogi. He said coming into this race, this car feels much, much different compared to what it used to. And I will say, last week, although it wasn't a points finish for Bulgogi, it was a very good race considering his circumstances. He couldn't qualify until the last lap of qualifying because his Xbox Live Gold ran out. And because of that, he ended up not having any settings in place. Everything got deleted, including setups, assists. He had to do basically half the race, if not more, on different stuff compared to what he's usually used to. And he was in the contention for points up until the last safety car where he got a penalty with 2 laps to go. Right now he's navigating turn 9 here, the double left-hander. Into turn 10 you see other drivers clocking in times, both Alpines, a Ferrari of Dil JG. 31.0 is the time to beat right now. We will be getting that probably beaten here in the coming time. Either way, Sector 2 complete for Bulgogi. Now the long right, very tricky for the drivers. And keep in mind, folks, the skill gap will be massive around here. Hunted 31.0, that's 7 thousandths better than Dil JG. Now Bulgogi's got DRS wide open down the back straight. Just to clarify for our new driver in here, Redfire Tiger and Joe Wilson should be joining us mid-qualifying, so that is why you see 18 in here compared to what is supposed to be a full lobby very soon. Across the line, Bulgogi goes. He's 5th fastest, just ahead of SV and Nathan Richards there. Let's get in a lap. Oh, do we have a spin? I thought we did. It looked like we did have a spin somewhere. Oh, it was just someone in the runoff trying to get out of the way. We got championship leader JNT Gaming coming across the line now. He's not felt too happy about the setup of the race car or how he's been able to practice so far, but right now, he's showing that practice makes perfect. The better he gets, the better the competition might get. 30.9, he is ahead of the pack by just 75 thousandths, and he's got 2 guys there within a 1/10 of the fastest time. Something else to mention as well, folks, is that the Tier 1 pole time was a 30.2. We're 7/10 off that right now. I won't be surprised if we end up getting faster than that. There you go, Bino, 30.7. Our fastest driver right now on the track. Rapid Owen, we're going to go on board with. I'm going to let you guys watch this lap here at the end of Sector 2 while I respond to a message. Let's see how he takes the fast right-hander as well. Rapid Owen going down the back straight. Maxing out, it looks like, almost. Thank you, guys, in the chat. Dom here. Rapid Owen here in the chat. Rapid Owen gonna set a lap time at 9th fastest. You can see, like I said, the skill gap. Look at how far back the Alfa Romeos are. This track is a big one for the skill gap. Bino, though, 2 races ago, won his first race in Bahrain. I don't believe it was his first start because he started earlier in Canada this season, but will the 3rd time be the charm for Bino here tonight? Let's find out. Yellow flags, that is for the Haas of Rapid Owen getting out of the way. We've got FBL now on a lap, I believe. Let's watch FBL. He's made a few starts this season and came back. He had a full-time seat just 2 seasons prior, and His most well-known move in RPL, F1, F2, Tier 2, all the tiers, FE as well. It comes in F2. Back in Zandvoort, just a season ago, whenever he pulled off the Hail Melon, and now he's invalidated a lap time there. Slowest of them all right now on the board. But in that race at China, though, when he did pull off at Zandvoort, when he did pull off the Hail Melon at the last corner, it was in wet conditions, and he decided to go full send to get what was a podium at the time, but then later became P4 once Owen appealed a penalty to get himself onto the podium. So that was nice that he was able to pull off that move. And it was also nice, by the way, as well, that he's able to return to F2 next game. We got a lot of drivers on the F2 grid that are returning next game cycle. And some of these guys have been making reserve appearances in Tier 2 as of the last 2 seasons. We've got drivers returning, such as RPL Jordan. We've got Minico making his first F2 start as well next game. Egg returns to F2. Egg has not been in F2 in a long while. He's a past champion, by the way. Griffith's the past champion. Metals made a recent RPL return. He's back on the F2 grid next game. Josh 433, a new driver, one of Kipu's friends as well, joining. George returns. He's currently banned from racing in Tier 2 or Tier 1 due to the incidents in Texas. But he's the tier coordinator, so I can understand why he'd want to race there, especially not getting the chance to in Tier 2 and Tier 1 right now. Titan returns. Blugagi returns. JTK makes his first F2 starts, I believe, as well. J&T, same thing there, too. J&T and JTK, 2 championship rivals, will be teammates in F2. That'll be interesting. Seven Stevens. That'll be a tongue twister pronounced. Vapor.js making first F2 start. And Polo God as well, making a return during F2 next game, too. Interesting storylines to look forward to on F2 next game, which apparently, like I said earlier to start the stream, we have a schedule apparently ready to go, but not released just yet. We'll have to figure out if anything will be last-minute changes. But as for currently, our second place man in the championship, JTK, speaking of F2, he'll be teammates with championship rival JTK. This should be very interesting. Let's talk about the 2 championship protagonists' background here in RPL. JTK, one of the older drivers in RPL. You got old to mid-20s for him. Started, I want to say, just a few seasons ago. I want to say at the end of F1 22. And then finally broke through. Got his first pole, got his first win, then translated that to being in Mercedes as well. He's going to get a big slipstream here from the Alpine here, which may have been in his way, but now this is playing big dividends to JTK. And as for J&T's case as well, our championship leader, he started an RPL back in Season 4 and Season 5 of Tier 2, getting his first pole, getting his first podiums back then, and then returned to RPL back in Season 10 of Tier 2, doing everything he can as well to solidify himself as a championship contender. And championship contender JTK just slots in 3rd fastest, just behind J&T Gaming. So not too bad from the man second in the championship. We got some laps as well we're going to look forward to right now from our bottom 3 runners who have not set a lap. Remember, this is short qualifying for those of you who are new here. No, but Red Fire Tiger usually comes off of a race, though, right before RPL. I don't really understand why him and Joe Wilson aren't here. I'm going to ping the 2 team principals of Mercedes and Red Bull as to why they're not here. Because if they're not here, they need to get someone else in that car if possible. We've got Tadpole coming across the line. What is the Alfa Romeo of that's Wavy. What is Wavy doing? That was a bit concerning. He just came across the track right there. I guess I saw that one. Tadpole, by the way, slotted in 7th fastest. And now Valkyrie, P4 last week, her best result in a long while. She went 8th fastest. And by the way, our pulse sitter now is J&T Gaming, up to the 30.6s right now on a lap. We're going to go on Mythics on board, and then we're going to go to the drivers contending for pole position and watch their laps. Mythic slots in 14th fastest. Mythic also got a really great result. 6th place last weekend in the race at Abu Dhabi after everything was dealt with the appeals, the stewards report, all that cool stuff. JTK coming back to the pit lane. Blue Goggy just went 9th fastest. Kipu 8th as well. I'm missing some of these laps. I'm trying to get to the guys who are going for pole position here now because we didn't catch J&T Gaming's lap, which is really unfortunate. Might repost that from a stream. Joe Wilson is joining and qualifying. Cookie has no clue where Redfire is. All right, now we're going to start the final laps here, it looks like. We've got yellow flags on the circuit, so I can't see how much is remaining. I believe there's about four or so minutes remaining here. We're going to watch Dill JG. His first start in Ferrari, the Alfa Romeo driver who's done quite a bit in recent races, but as for last week, it wasn't really so great from him because he DNF'd for the first time in RPL. And as for Dill JG, he really had it going up until then. Even when he got screwed over, he was just shy of the points in an Alfa Romeo, a car that usually isn't in the points. Also, he had some really great finishes, especially in his debut back at Texas earlier this season. So let's see, at a crucial time for Ferrari, and even Mercedes with Mintoki now full-time there for the final 2 races, can we see anything improve from these drivers, helping out their constructors? We have 3 minutes remaining. Dill JG improving in the first sector marginally. This should get him ahead of Hunted, but will it be enough to get ahead of JTK? As we come to the end of the second sector, he's backed off on the lap. On a lap right now, further behind is Mintoki. She's one of 2 drivers, such as her and J&T Gaming, to score points in every single race so far. And 2/10 up at the end of the sector split. This is crucial for her if she wants to get up on the board, or at least remain in 6th place with her current time. We also now have Hunted on a lap, so we'll go to him right after if possible. Got Make PK now in the Aston because you got Joe Wilson who's not joining and qualifying any longer. So Mintoki only goes 6th fastest, but it was an improvement from her. Hunted down by 6 thousandths in the first sector. And now improving by 94 thousandths. This could get Hunted up to the 3rd place spot on our timing boards. Dill JG, by the way, should be out in another lap. He's 77 thousandths up. Chat, get your predictions in. We got 90 seconds remaining. If you're not on track right now, well, you're not going to get a lap in. And by the looks of things, that was Nathan Richards starting a lap. But right now, the attention is on Hunted LAX, who could improve here. Only a few podiums so far to his name this season. 1 win on track, though. That came in Canada. But his last pole comes back in Texas last season. It's his only one for McLaren. Absolutely sending it into the final corner. Across the line now. Hunted goes up to 3rd place, just shy of the front row. And now we look to Dill JG, who's only marginally improving in the 2nd sector. Just got a slipstream, it looked like. And now he's got the Williams in front there, who's just getting out of... Sorry, the Alpine there, just getting out of the way. Now, invalidated the last lap time there. That's it. He also as well, by the way, invalidated this and next lap, so that's very crucial. Mintoki's backed off. Hunted on an in-lap. We got JTK, Bino, and J&T coming across the line. Bino's first, then there's J&T Gaming. Let's watch their laps as they go for their quest to pole position. 30.6 is the current pole time. 30.2 was the Tier 1 pole time. Will we get anywhere near that becomes the question. Make PK is in here. He obviously will have to start at the tail end of the field due to not joining or being on lineups until now. Bino, purple through there. J&T Gaming up by 35 thousandths. Now, what was the difference there with Bino and J&T in terms of the improvements? Right now, we're watching Bino with the checkered flag is waving. This is going to be crucial for Bino, by the way. if he wants to get onto pole position. There's a Williams crossing the line now. That's Nathan Richards. I don't think there was any improvement there. Hunt is coming back to the pit lane, so this should be our next to the competitive laps. Bino is up by 2/10 right there, nearly 3/10, but JNT Gaming needs to find more, and he's not finding more. He's down on the time. So this is between these two for pole position right now, unless JTK can stop any of those guys as of the current time and moment. We're going to switch to the Haas driver. First one to cross the line, Rapid 0 and 11 fastest. Next to cross the line is the Alpine. That's Valkyrie, 4th place last week, but really good qualifying effort, going up to 8th ahead of the teammate. Next for pole position, can Bino go 2 for 2 here in his Red Bull starts? Right now he is 30.3. Amazing lap at the end there, just in time for pole position. SV barely improves, and JNT Gaming couldn't improve, but can JTK do so? Yes, just can't improve any places. Dill JG's backed off. Mintoki on a lap, it looks like maybe just about to improve. I don't think she will, coming into the pit lane, aborting the lap. Next up is the Alfa Romeos. Frosty does improve, FBL looking to improve, and FBL does just marginally, can't improve any places. So it's Bino. Gonna go 2 for 2 here tonight for Red Bull. Amazing stuff from him. And he's gonna be the one they're all chasing. All right, what is the gamer tag here of Martian? I don't even have his EA. I don't think anyone had his EA there. I don't have his EA. Yeah, I meant to. Oh, there he is. He's in. He's going to be our Red Bull driver for tonight. So we got a Red Bull starting first, and we got a Red Bull starting last. This should be interesting, though, for Red Bull then. They have a Constructors' Championship that they desperately need to do well in. And this pole position will help them massively. Kipu's just lagged out. Oh, let's get him back in here while we go through our qualifying order, folks. All right. So, here's our qualifying order. 4 different constructors inside the top 4 spots. Bino ahead of JNT Gaming, then Hunted, then JTK. Dill JG's running at our top 5. That is crucial for Ferrari, who lead the constructors. Mercedes as well as 6th, by the way, with Mintoki, Tadpole, then Valkyrie, then Kipu. Blue Goggy inside the top 10. Look at the gap, though, from 1st to 10th, though, 1.5. That's how big the skill gap is around the circuit. Outside of the top 10, some names to focus on. Make PK, Dom. Dom had that qualifying ban. Make PK in here had the qualifying ban as well, but was late on the lineup, so we'll see if there will be an extra qualifying ban for next week. And our Red Bull driver making his debut at the back of the grid should be TTV Marine. All right, folks, here's the strategy for tonight's event that you want to look forward to, and the pit stop loss, the ERS gain, all that kinds of stuff that we need to look out for in tonight's event before lights out. So it looks to be a variety of strategies that can be applied. We have the medium to soft. We have the hard to medium. Soft hard as possible. I don't think it'll be fast, though. And some teams may elect to go for a 2-stop before the final safety car in the Tier 1 race. We saw some teams trying to do this because of the horrible tire wear, specifically on the Ferrari-powered cars. Cookie even tried to do it in the Red Bull. ERS gain back in the pit lane, 19%. Pit stop loss, 21 to 23 seconds. This should be very interesting on the run to turn 1, folks, because we saw 4 wide here once in a Tier 1 race that ended up resulting in contact. We also saw as well, hold on, here come the 5 red lights for the Chinese Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season. It's lights out, and away we go. Bino, I don't think it was the best of launches for him because he looked to be side by side equally with JNT Gaming, but it won't be the case. Now into turn 1, JNT Gaming is slipping. He's sliding down the order as well. Only to 9th place, though, as JTK takes it over. The yellow flags to the back of the field. That was for Kipu. He's heading off, but JNT Gaming, our championship leader, crucially down the field into 9th place. JTK needs to win out massively from this now. You see the guys using their ERS here on the run to turn 6. JNT Gaming down the inside, almost into the path of the McLaren. And JNT Gaming, our championship leader, has spun around. This is not good from the man who could be going for a 10th consecutive podium today. Kippu as well is at the back of the grid. Same with Blue Goggy. They've had horrible lap ones there from AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Alpine. You got both Aston Martins battling out. That's Make PK and Wavy now. But Bino leads this race by a 3/10 gap as you see the tires now. And at the back of the field, we got Nathan Richards and Dom trying to go side by side here. Dom trying to gain spots after his qualifying ban, and that's very crucial there at the back of the field. You see Blue Goggy as well in the back of FBL at the back of the train, and now they're getting very dicey. 3rd place, JTK is trying to protect over Ferrari, Dil JG. This is also not only big for the Drivers' Championship, which is very slim for JTK's chances, but also the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari were leading into today. SV as well getting passed by Mythic, it looks like there. Mythic's had a great start. He's been up 6 places. The big winner, though, Wavy Knife, 8 places. Nathan Richards and FBL, this is a big battle down the main straight. How about make it 3 wide? Nathan Richards backing off of that one. FBL and Blue Goggy will go through. Got further up in front of that. SV now duking it out with Mythic here for 9th place on our board. And Kippu is into the pit lane. But Wavy Knife all over the back of SV now. I think Wavy wanted to send one right there. And SV also is on the back of Mythic right there, who he's lost DRS2 Mythic right up in front of that. Rapid Owen. But we got 3 or so different trains in this race so far. And JNT Gaming down in 18th place, the championship leader in massive trouble. JTK needs to get to this race lead quickly, and he needs maximum points in order to stay in this championship race for Japan next week. But here we go. Hunted is looking for a move here on Bino. What a storyline it would be for Hunted to win this race after crashing out in the Tier 1 race, allegedly on purpose. SV and Mythic now trade spots. We got Frosty and Dom, Nathan and FBL. It's battles throughout the whole entire field. Wavy Knife is getting trounced on by his Academy teammate Mythic, who's up to 9th place. Mythic's having a really great opening laps here. And now Wavy, right alongside the barrier, will go alongside and pulls out from behind. SV makes it 3 wide. This is going to get very hairy and tight into turn 1 and 2. I think SV just got shoved out wide there. He's going to lose almost 3 places. Add Make PK into this battle as well. This is absolutely crazy, and we now got JNT Gaming getting in the position over his Academy teammate. Also, you look at Nathan Richards, who's also about to get passed here for 16th place. But further up in front of that, Blue Goggy is trying to go the long way around here on Frosty Life. Bumps into the back of him. Nathan Richards now not going to go with the fight with JNT Gaming. He knows how crucial this is for the Mercedes Academy, because Mercedes are the team that is fighting Ferrari for the Constructors' battle. But for our lead, folks, 4-car race, DRS online this time. DRS activated for Hunted on the back of Bina. Will he pull out from behind? No, he won't. JTK, Dil JG, they still remain behind. But now further on behind that, Make PK is getting dicey. Make PK is going for the up and under here. And down the inside, he's getting very racy. He might have just got a track limit warning right there, because SV was making contact with him, and he almost went into the side of Dom right there. And now for our lead. Now for our lead. Hunted is so close to making the move, but he just can't do it. Well, to be fair, Faded, there is a reason JNT Gaming has led this championship up until this point by such a big gap. Hold on, Dil JG, JNT Gaming's teammate, trying to do some wonders here around the outside of JTK, but just can't pull it off. I was just going to say how, for J&T Gaming's case, I really can't give much backlash besides today to him because J&T Gaming has not really put a foot wrong this season. Even when he has, he's not finished off the podium. He's got 9 consecutive podiums, and that's second on our record sheet for that. Hunted is so close right in the back of Bino right here. You know, we saw in the Tier 1 race, DRS, mind games at this section. I don't think we'll see the same thing replicated here tonight, but so crucial for Hunted to get by Bino. Not only for McLaren's sake with having both cars 2nd and 6th, but he's not won a race this season. He came close in Canada, but right now he's on the back of our race leader and finally pulling out to go alongside and go for this race lead. Hunted LAX through for now, but will Bino out traction Hunted here, exiting the penultimate corner? The answer right now is no. Further on back, J&T Gaming gets Academy teammate Frosty. I think Frosty still wants to send it, but he can't. Tadpole and Valkyrie. There's also a trade in positions right there. And once again for our race lead, no DRS online for Bino, but trying to pull alongside and put the pressure on our race leader Hunted. And I don't think he can do so there by the exit of turn 2. We still have battles behind that for the last points position. It's Mythic and SV duking it out. J&T Gaming only up to 14th. Hopefully his usual Academy teammate Blugagi will give him some space here and give him some breathing room. Blugagi, usually a Ferrari Academy driver, but on loan to AlphaTauri tonight. Gonna be in the Red Bull Academy full-time next season. Right now, J&T Gaming holding him off, and we have Dom going down the inside. It's a little bit desperation from the Haas driver, and banging wheels with Make PK right there. Now he's gonna try to go the long way around here. J&T Gaming still can't get by Blugagi here. Like I said, J&T Gaming, our championship leader, has not put a foot wrong up until this point. But JTK is not doing himself any favors for this driver's race because he needs the lead, he needs the win, and he needs maximum points, including the fastest lap. But once again for our race lead, Bino trying to charge back at it. He's going to reclaim the lead here on lap number 5. Further on back, Nathan Richards and FBL also battling it out for 17th place. This is very big in terms of these two academies, maybe later on, getting in the way of the opposite one due to the big battle with Mercedes and Ferrari Academy for our constructors fight. Talk about the drivers fight with JNT and JTK, but our constructors fight is just so important as that because Red Bull and McLaren are doing what they need to. Red Bull, as you notice now, only one car in this race with what's going on from drivers who weren't able to get in time. And now on the main straight, Mythic and SV. A little swap-a-roo here between these two. Wavy Knife also on the back of Rapid Owen right here. This is a nice, tasty battle for 8th place as well. And now Wavy Knife gonna send one here on Rapid Owen. Side by side, wheel to wheel, almost contact there. Wavy Knife used his battery, got through there before turn 7. Very neatly done. And now FBL is still dueling it out with Nathan Richards. This is a nice back of the field battle. Nathan Richards didn't have the best opening stints here so far. FBL, not the fastest on pace. He knows that. He's just having a little bit of fun, it looks like. And Hunted has gained on Bino for this race lead on the long right-hander. And Hunted is putting a lot of pressure on a race leader, Bino, trying to regain the top spot back. Will he do it? Yes. Hunted is ahead right now, and he's clear for P1. Further on back, we got Tadpole and Valkyrie, two Academy teammates right here. Crucial for McLaren to have the upper edge on the Alpine driver. Valkyrie seems to be doing a lot better with less competition. And SV and Mythic, another trade in places. Meanwhile, SV getting the cutback, and now Make PK will take advantage of the Academy teammate right there. That's 11th place to Make PK's name. And further on back, FBL Nathan Richards, another swapperoo meanwhile between these two. These two going at it once again. Make PK and SV getting very tasty into turn 1. SV is sliding, losing the rear. Almost replicated to what J&T Gaming did on the opening lap. And now J&T Gaming looked to send down the inside. He just couldn't on Mythic. And this is being a really, really big hindering for J&T right now in his chance to try to get up the field. Now Dom is getting Blugagi for position. Bulgogi almost running in the back of him. You got to be careful in this train if you're running on the back of somebody. Mythic losing traction, and J&T Gaming is through. So he's up to 12th place in this recovery drive. Guy who's gained the most spots, though, and kept it. Wavy Knife, 11 spots. Really good start from both Aston Martins, gaining a combined 18 spots. Bino trying to go for win number 2 in Tier 2. Hunted trying to go for win number 5 tonight. Who's going to have the lead by the end of lap 7? It looks to be Hunted still remaining out in front. Further on back, this DRS train once again is still getting tasty, and SV looks to be losing DRS to make PK here as of the current time and moment. Unfortunate. Here comes J&T Gaming, though, pulling out from behind and going to make this move. That was crucial. He needed to do that, and he's ahead. But SV, I'm sure he'll put up the fight here. He's usually a part of the Alpine Academy, but on loan, currently on the Red Bull Academy tonight. And you know how crucial it is for these guys to put the pressure on Ferrari, our current constructors leaders. Any chance for them to gain spots will be big, big trouble for Mercedes, even though they're in third and 5th right now. Little lock up there. FBL Nathan Richards once again trading spots. This is very interesting here for the battle for 17th place. It might not be for a lot. It might be outside the points, but they keep going at it. And they maybe come to blows. We could see a safety car hinder things here. So far, no one lost from this race. Kipu having big trouble, though, at the back of the field. I know he talked about maybe his internet going to be an issue for tonight, but he had some contact there that caused that one. And now Dom is duking it out with Mythic for 13th place right now on our running order. Mythic staying ahead. Dom in this train eager to get by, and he just can't do so. Yeah, with FBL and Nathan Richards, though, it's not for any points. It's just for some fun here. And maybe if they do get a safety car, they can contend for points. Saw Bino trying to sneak a peek right there on the back of our race leader, Hunted. Hunted, it really seems since his Tier 2 championship season 2 seasons ago, he's really not had many breakout runs, but could tonight be the night? Onto the grass there is Dom as they split SV. Mythic and Dom both going by, and now Bulgogi, the Academy teammate for tonight. Both SV and Gagi on loan. Almost ran into the back of each other as Dom and Mythic side by side at the final corner. These two came to blows in Mexico, and it also happened in Monza. And right now, it's also happening in China where they're trading places once again and add SV again into this fight. He's about to do the 2-1, except I don't think he can send on the inside of Mythic right here. He's going to have to hope for some room to be given at the later stages of turn 3. And now Dom's still on the inside of SV. This battle is still not done. Further back, Nathan Richards and FBL. Once again, how many times has that been that they've swapped it around? And it's about to be a 3-car race here into turn 6. This is going to get very tight around the outside. Dom holding it. But can he hold it for much longer? He's going to out-traction Mythic, and he gets the place. Both AlphaTauris going side by side too. SV excelling. Gagi having the preferred inside line for turn 8, which then becomes the pursued outside line for turn 9. Back to our race lead. Bino has it. Hunted wants it. But can Bino protect for much longer here in this spot? You know, the Red Bull tire wear in a better spot most cases than the McLaren. But the McLaren tire wear, not that much worse. And you can see Hunted just pushing the back of Bino right here. Now J&T Gaming wants another spot. Make PK. He knows what's at stake for his brother. He knows what's at stake for this constructor's race. But just dancing behind J&T Gaming as he has to be overtaken right there for 10th place. J&T Gaming is back up into the points, but is this too little too late, even though we got 18 laps left to get a podium place? I see from J&T Gaming's friends who I'm in a Discord server with, and we talk a lot. Some of these guys used to race in RPL and still do. Talking about only mistake he's made this season. It's very true. The thing is with J&T Gaming, with what happened there in lap 1, he just lost grip, it looked like, into turn 1. He just lost the rear, spun around. But as Polo God, a previous mentor at J&T Gaming, said, he can only turn it around. And that's very true. This is the thing about the recovery drives. Mentoki's been used to this a lot this season in the Aston Martin when things have gone wrong for her. Oh, collision! SV's off! And was that with the Academy teammate as he goes careering into a 360? I was just going to say from a previous mentor, Apollo, yeah, the thing is that he said it. Only thing he can do is turn it around, and that's very true. This is a thing that you can do in races like these with the recovery drives, and Mentoki has been used to that from races where she's been on the back foot, had things go wrong, had the safety car not in her favor. She's got points in every race this season. She's one of 2 drivers, JNT Gaming being the other one. Right now, JNT Gaming will continue the streak, but the thing is, though, once this Ferrari tire wear kicks in even more than it already is, how much will it hinder him in this quest to catch up? He's got Rapid Owen, the Academy teammate, trying to battle this with Wavy Knife. Just in DRS right there. Just barely. But how much longer will that be? The interesting thing compared to Rapid Owen with Wavy Knife and JNT Gaming is the ERS difference. Let's have a look through ERS right here. 46 from Valkyrie, 30 from Tadful, 43 from Mentoki. Locking up there, JTK. Oh, that was big. 43, 52. Okay, so JTK is in the best position here for ERS amongst the top 10, as SV is our first driver inside that top 15 area to pit. Remember, he had trouble there at turn 8. FBL Nathan Richards once again trading blows, it looks like. Just once again, they cannot get away from each other. And Blue Goggy and Mythic, a collision in Mexico. A battle here in China. Now Blue Goggy going by. I prefer inside line. You can just see the grip that has. And now for our race lead once again. Hunted trying to regain the spot. Bino trying to protect from Hunted. All this coming before they have to pit here in the coming laps. Meanwhile, Hunted takes back the race lead. You can see Bino ducking out, I think, just trying to save ERS, not running the back of Hunted, doing the smart thing right there. And Hunted is in. Hunted is into the pit lane. So is Dill JG. El Mythic again with Blue Goggy. These two almost coming together down the straight. Blue Goggy almost hitting the back of him, coming so close to the back of Mythic. And the gap between JNT Gaming and Rapid Owen right there to try to gain another place, 3.2 seconds. I think last lap it was about 3.5. So you can see how much the tire wear hits the Ferrari drivers, including Rapid Owen, who's only just hanging with Wavy Knife. Again, FBL and Nathan Richards. How many times is this? Round 10, maybe? They've swapped, it seems, every other lap, if not every lap. And Dill JG crucially gets ahead of Dom. This is important as Hunted and him try to navigate their way through cars who haven't pitted, as those two have pitted. They go to the hard tires. We should be seeing JTK and Bino pit sometime soon here this lap or next. Remember, the Red Bull can go longer on that tire wear, so we'll see what ends up happening. The interesting thing, too, is that when Owen won the championship in Imola last season, he didn't come in the first, second, or third spots. He came 5th. Or no, was it 5th? 6th, I think. So, interesting stuff right there. JTK and Bino, they're both in, so is Mentoki. I think Tadpole and Valkyrie, if you're one of those two, you might be staying out an extra few laps here. You're on the hard tires. What do you have to lose here? Blue Goggy and Mythic trade spots once again at the hairpin. Late braking there. JNT Gaming, for the first time this race, is into the pit lane, and he got it in very carefully in order to not have further trouble. Mythic now, once again, is being hounded by Blue Goggy here. Blue Goggy's got DRS. Mythic protecting. And Blue Goggy, I don't think you're going to be that silly to send one at turn 1. He doesn't. But he's just pressurizing Mythic, maybe trying to get him to make a mistake. And remember, these guys, they're not shy off of points by many positions. They were only 1 or 2 spots off of points before this train got all sorted out, as SV is our first driver into the penalty club. Well, I will say that's very big for this race, by the way. I know Invade talked about Bino. Well, we'll talk about him more later. We're talking about right now a move for 11th place as Blue Goggy goes around the outside there. Then having the inside once again through on Mythic. But remember, Mythic will get DRS here after the back straight. Is that why Mythic was playing a little bit more cautious with him? And Spinner, that is Mintoki around. She's hit trouble in the middle of the pit cycles or right before them for the second race in a row. And she's got a broken front wing. She'll have to pit. You know who this benefits, who was in front of her? JNT Gaming, who's now going to pass her right here. If you're JNT Gaming and you've got engineers who are in the same voice chat as you, I'm sure they're telling him, Mintoki's now got wing damage. Wavy Knife is in. And by the way, Dill JG passed Bino right there. Very crucial. That one lap difference between Dill JG Hunted versus Bino and JTK. But JTK through on Mintoki. He's still got a lot of other cars in front of him yet to pit. Wavy Knife. Will he get the undercut on him? FBL with a track limit penalty. That's our second guy. And JNT Gaming through on Nathan Richards, but how close is he to the back of Wavy, who's banging wheels with FBL right here. Dill JG ahead on Rapid Owen. Bino ahead on Rapid Owen. This is a tasty battle for our net P2 spot, by the way. We're not going to try to shade away too much from this. We'll get back to it once DRS is applied, but JNT Gaming ahead of FBL crucially right there, and now in DRS of Wavy Knife. That would have been for P8, but with Mintoki's mistake, this is going to be for P7. So although the podium is not on as of the current time and moment, this battling up in front with Dill JG, Bino, all these guys, still could change the complexion of this race as Dill JG goes wide. Bino takes an opportunity right here to go by. He'll pull alongside, but further in front of that, the Academy teammate of Valkyrie going to help out Hunted. These two have come to blows before, but Hunted doing the right thing now, getting by at that current time and moment when it was much needed. Dill JG overtaken by Bino, and JTK through on Rapid Owen. And Make PK is still not done with Dom right here. This is about to be very, very tense as they almost come to blows. JTK now taking fastest lap. He was 2 seconds back. Now he's 1.1, almost within DRS. So that undercut playing big dividends, and Dom into the pits. This is interesting because he was within that battle outside the points. This is an overcut. Hopefully going to play out to his favor, but will it play out in terms of being just off the points here? I don't think so. He's going to be overtaken by JNT Gaming and Wavy Knife. But although Tadpole and Valkyrie have yet to pit, a 5-car race right now for our race lead. And Bino getting through in Valkyrie, it looks like. Valkyrie going to put the fight up to Bino because the Academy team of Hunted is not too far in front, and you've got Tadpole not in DRS right here of Hunted, and just preventing these guys from catching Hunted, who got the undercut and made it work. Now Dill JG sends a lunge up the inside, 2x2 almost right here as they enter Sector 3. Bino going for the move, just caught Tadpole napping right there, who I think may have been trying to go for the DRS, but he didn't. He didn't get it. Dill JG, though, got the move done for third, and now drag race here into the hairpin now. Dill JG's in front. Tadpole trying to get back out ahead and just put the fight to these guys, as Hunted will be having some company here in a few laps with the 1-lap tire difference. JTK now in DRS, by the way, and further on back, SV made a mistake. Dom is through. I don't know what's happened to Tadpole. He's pitting. That's what's happened. And JTK cannot get past Valkyrie just yet. Oh, now he does. Wheel banging, shoving his way through, and up into 4th place is JTK. As of the current time and moment, this championship will not be won by excuse me. It will be won, but JTK won't keep himself in contention. Excuse me, my bad. So Rapid Owen is in, Mythic is in, Tadpole just pitted, now overtaken by Wavy and JNT Gaming. But the interesting thing for JNT Gaming is 5th place is not too far off the cards here, with 3 guys up in front, still yet to pit. I'm thinking that P6 is more likely than P5 is, but now he's through on Frosty, the Academy teammate. Debut driver here, not having a bad race for Alfa Romeo. Now, Wavy Knife right here at turn 7, going by. It looked like Frosty tried to let him by, but went into the grass by doing so, and that's allowed Tadpole to execute and overtake as well. Well, we're halfway through this race and just past it. Remember, Hunt is leading and looking for another win, his first one since the end of Season 10 when he won the championship. But if you've not tuned into many RPL races and you've not followed us, we hope you do the same as others have by following, because we've still got more races here to follow out the game cycle. Mexico tomorrow for Tier 1 and Japan for Tier 2. That's Valkyrie ducking into the pit lane now finally. And Tadpole battling Wavy here on the fresher medium tires. I think JNT Gaming will be having some company here soon. Tadpole a little late, gets the late lunge, and is through. Got Valkyrie now into the pit lane, gonna box for medium tires. And FBL and SV also trade spots. Frosty is in as well. Now Bino is finally caught up to DRS of Hunted, but I want to talk about why this win would be so important for Hunted, folks. It was the Tier 1 race here not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, where Hunted crashed out outside of a points position for Alpine, reserving in this race in Tier 1. He's a full-time Tier 2 driver, Hunted is. But the interesting thing about what Hunted did, though, is he went straight into a wall at turn 11. And he said his Xbox was overheating and it shut off. Well, there was a clip submitted, and it looked very intentional, as if that wasn't the case. Who knows if that was the case, because we've seen many times here before, even one example recently, Austria 2 seasons ago in Tier 2, where an AI not in control of the car can veer right. It happened with RPL Zakaria in the Austria race, which was so chaotic 2 seasons ago. But this is why this win would be so important for Hunted, because he was penalized and accused and found guilty, apparently, of crashing on purpose. So a redemption story right now is being taken over from Bino in his second Red Bull start, taking the race lead. Got JTK trying to take back 3rd place, still JG trying to get his first podium. He's mates with Bino, so maybe he'll come fight it if he ends up gaining some pace here. Tadpole just got by a JNT Gaming. That's for 6th place, but will this become 5th place as MakeBK is pitted? Yes, it will. The interesting thing for MakeBK is he's pitted so late, and he's the last one of them all to pit, to where this may be soft tires here. And I think it is. It is. Mythic's also on soft tires. By the way, those yellow flags you saw, that was for Kippo. He's about to go a lap down. This is not good from the Alpine driver. Mythic, 3rd driver into the penalty box. Sorry, 4th. Blugagi was in it not too long ago as well. I completely missed that. But it looks like Dill JG losing time. Gonna have to battle JTK then for this podium, whatever it may be at that cost. Current update, though, for the constructors with Mintoki outside the points. Ferrari will be outscoring Mercedes as of the current moment, but they will not be clinching any constructors. The one that helps out big time in this race to stay in it is McLaren. I think they barely will beat Ferrari on points as of the current way things are. If anyone can do a live points update, that'd be great. I'll give you guys the points in Twitch chat. We got a lot more things to focus on, and one of them is the battle for 3rd place, and about to be the battle for 5th place. Tadpole is ahead of JNT Gaming, and this looks to be tonight the battle for best of the rest. JNT Gaming might not have a podium on the cards, but he's going to need a safety car if he wants to continue the 9 consecutive races of podium streak that he has. Further on back, MakeBK, meanwhile, up to 12th place. Oh, and he almost got tapped from the back of SV. You know, he's really on a good chance for points, MakeBK is. He got 7th place last week in Abu Dhabi after everything was settled. And he's got Blugagi and Dom to chase after to get points. Dom in his return as well, doing great, 10th place. Got both Haas cars in the points. Alpine doing great with Valkyrie once again. Trying to hold on for 6th in the Constructors race as well. We've got a lot of storylines besides the championship to focus on, and I've just been disconnected from a party. Sorry, folks. There we go. I don't want anyone to hear the commentary in the game chat. Maybe they'll like it. I don't know. It might distract them. Apologies if it distracted anybody. Yeah, so we have 3 cars here within DRS. So the car in front hunted for the race lead. JTK within striking distance of 3rd place. J&T Gaming reeling in. Tadpole still within DRS, just barely, although Tadpole's on the fresher medium tires. I mean, the good thing is, though, for J&T's sake, though, in terms of calling this championship, it's a long ways away with where he's at. Although he's not on the podium, we have a lot of time to talk about other things before we get to J&T Gaming in terms of winning this championship tonight, because he's doing everything he can. JTK, let's look at who has the fastest lap. It is JTK, funnily enough. He needs 13 more points if he wants to end up staying within this championship race, and he needs J&T Gaming to score absolutely nothing. And right now, J&T Gaming is doing what he can do. He's in the points. He's 6th place. And Make PK has just stolen that fastest lap from his brother as well. How fitting. You know, Mercedes need those points for the Constructors' race. Right now, with JTK being in the points, they've only got 12 points. Whereas Ferrari being on the podium and in 6th, they've got, what, 21 points maybe? 23. 23 to Mercedes' 12. So that's going to put things still in Ferrari's favor and extend their gap. But with a Red Bull leading and a Ferrari right there, Red Bull stay within this battle 38 points back, I want to say. But as for McLaren, 28 points. I think they need another spot if they want to stay within this race. Ferrari have 23 while they have 28. That's 5 points gained. And in terms of tiebreakers, Ferrari have the tiebreakers, I believe. Yes, they do. They have the advantage for 2nd place finishes and 3rd place finishes here. See, the interesting thing, I think McLaren still stay in this race with even ties because they can win out the tiebreaker next week. Because if they win somehow, which they would need to do, they'd be tied on wins, Ferrari and McLaren. 2nd place finishes with Hunted getting 1. Okay, so McLaren would still be in this race because they need a 1-2 at Ferrari scoring nothing then. So yeah, I mean, right now we have a 4-way Constructors fight ahead of the final race, but I would say if you want to set yourself in better sights here as McLaren, you need to get this race lead back. But you saw right there at turn 10, Hunted went wide, he clipped the grass and made a big mistake. And as 8 laps remain, he needed to use that battery to catch back up to Bino, who's got just about 10% more battery in the tank. I agree with Sam Stee talking about J&T Gaming. 6th is still solid in this race. And even for JTK, what he's been able to put up the season as well prior to Canada was a really good fight. And it's not been replicated in the second half of the season. But right now, he could take over another podium place here and get podium number 13 to his credit. Next season, he'll be in, I believe, Mercedes or Red Bull full-time. I don't remember which one it is, but he'll definitely have a good chance in the next game cycle to go for the championship. That's for sure. By the way, I want to give a big shout-out to Bino here. He's really done a great job as Mythic gets by SV. He's done a really great job, and he's solidified himself as a worthy Tier 1 driver, maybe even as a reserve, full-time reserve for a team. Oh, Make PK going to go for the Sen on Blue Goggy. He's going to pinch him right here. Make PK on the fresher tires, getting through and into 11th place momentarily. Blue Goggy back down the inside and going balls to the walls here, but he's into the wall. Blue Goggy has just been any chance for an 11th place spot, and that's really unfortunate. Luckily, he didn't take Make PK out with him. I'm really hoping Blue Goggy stays in this race and tries to take over that fastest lap from Make PK, because that's really the only karma he can go for. He's got damage, Blue Goggy does, and I think SV, by the way, went around the outside there of Mythic. Impressive if that was the case. And Nathan Richards is ducking to the pit lane. Please tell me this is not a retirement. Come on. We've had no one retire in this race up until this point. We had a retirement-free race just a season ago in Texas where no one gave up, but Nathan Richards has given up. That's unfortunate. It's just not gone his way. I get it, but the same could be said for Kipu. And Mythic is still dueling it out here with SV for 12th place. Side by side, leaning on each other. And I think SV wants to give him DRS here. He wants to say, you go ahead, I'll get the DRS here. And then try to re-overtake. Speaking of re-overtaking, Dom has just re-overtaken another car to get back 9th place in this race. Dom has had a really good recovery drive from the qualifying ban, and he's looking at some good points in tonight's event. By the way, that is the Williams off. Don't think I'm going crazy. That is Nathan Richards who retired from this race. Safety car free race, VSC free race. It sucks that we've had a driver give up like that. Hopefully he has some rear wing damage, so he has at least a bit of a reason. But now pinching once again, SV and Mythic side by side here for 12th place. Further behind that, we still have Mintoki and Blugagi battling it out. Blugagi into the pit lane here, and he just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings right there, picking up a track limit penalty. Oh, there goes Mythic around! Oh, it was just bound to happen, the constant battling with SV, and they've come to blows. You know, as I was just going to say, guys, about Bino here, we have a limited field compared to what we're used to seeing for Tier 1 tomorrow. If you're Red Bull and you want to get this guy maybe loaned out to another academy, this is the great opportunity to do just that. And he's really showing, by the way, Bino, what he is able to do right here. He should be loaned out to another academy tomorrow if possible. He's doing a really great job protecting the lead for now, but for how much longer? Hunted is charging. He's on the back, and will he go for a move at turn 1? No, he's just going to save some battery, conserve a little bit more, and chase after this in the later stages of this race. While that happened, Mintoki got by an SV, who's really low on fuel. I don't think a lot of these guys expected there to be no safety cars or VSCs in this race. Dom has just been re-overtaken for 9th place by the teammate here at Haas. But 2 collisions there in the last few laps. Blugagi and Make PK. You've had SV and Mythic as well. And hopefully we don't see a third, because Mintoki might have her point streak coming undone here. She's just been overtaken for 12th place in this race. Once again. Unfortunate from the South Korean driver, who really, like I said, hasn't put a foot wrong. A lot of the mistakes that she's made this season have been out of her control, and I've given her a lot of praise because a good portion of those points finishes have come with Aston Martin. I just want to take the time to remind everybody, before we see an overtake for the lead, we're going to have the championship finale next week in Japan, which will decide the constructors' race. But right now, 2 constructors about to trade spots. No. Well, we got 3rd place on the cards. JTK hustling up the back of Dil JG, looking for his first podium. Can't get by. Let's see who's gained the most spots here in terms of where they started. Wavy Knife, really good contender for driver of the day. He's having a really great race in comparison to what he's used to this season. Dom is another one. JNT Gaming, a really good recovery drive. I think that's 3 good contenders for driver of the day. I think Hunted and Bino, another one who has to be considered between these 2, whichever one wins this race. Hunted had a lot of confidence before this race. He talked about the potential of him winning this race. To me, he thought it was very possible, and right now it is looking very possible for Hunted. Just right in the back of Bino. I mean, if Hunted can find that extra edge to get up to the race lead, that would be perfect for him. Because the thing with Hunted is he doesn't have a great setting when it comes to his ERS management. It's really not much better than Bino's. If anything, it's worse. Yeah, it's worse. Bino has been able to conserve a lot of battery here in recent stages. Crash! SV's out! Safety car! And that's a very interesting place to crash. He must have lost it on traction right there, to my assumption, but this changes the game completely in terms of the fuel race that everybody was in. That is a very weird place to crash. You don't usually see guys lose it too often on traction late in the race, but he was on 13-lap mediums to his credit. FBL is in, Kipu is in, and so is Blugagi. These guys want to take full advantage of the safety car. And will Bino come in as well? Yes, so does Hunted, it looks like. Now, decisions to make here if you're some drivers. Do you stay out and prioritize track position here? This should be interesting here from the drivers, what they choose to do. This will only be a 2-lap restart, by the way. We will only have the safety car out for 3 laps. Tadpole goes in. JNT Gaming could go very indecisive here, but he doesn't. Valkyrie's in. Wavy Knife goes to the pit lane as well. I mean, it's basically no contest here on whether or not you pit or don't pit because of how crucial tires are around the circuit. But I would have thought someone would have stayed out. I really would have thought somebody would have. No one did. It doesn't really shock me too much, though, with how it is for tires around here. Like I was saying, everybody who pitted, though, going to the soft compound tires. Actually, we'll be getting the safety car in this time. That's why I was talking about people staying out as well, because right now you're going to have Bino, Hunted, Dill JG, and JTK caught up to the safety car, but maybe only Tadpole and a few others caught up just in time for this restart. This should be getting very interesting here for the mad dash to the finish. Oh boy. Well, we're going to have 2 laps to decide this here. And Mentoki is in the points right now on 12-lap mediums. Oh, wow. Bino has had no force feedback, supposedly, this whole race. Oh, boy. Well, JTK says there goes his free P3. Tadpole trying to catch back up. I don't know if he'll be able to get there in time. He'll be close. I think he might just catch up to the pack here. But Bino has quite a few decisions to make on when he wants to go. Just a reminder, folks, Mercedes are looking at 25 consecutive races in the points. McLaren, the only team so far this season without a DNF. We've had Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, JNT, Mentoki, the drivers and teams in the points every single race this season. We'll see if anything gets replicated with a 2-lap shootout to decide this finish here in China. Bino leads, Hunted in second. Safety car is into the pit lane, so Bino can go now if he'd like. But he's really backed up this pack. He'll go now. He's going to get a big jump here, it looks like. Bino off and away. And Hunted, I don't know if he'll be anywhere within striking distance to take this race lead back from what he had originally. But battery being dumped from Hunted, none from Bino right there. And interestingly enough, they're similar, actually, on their battery. And further on back on this restart, Rapido and Mentoki trading spots. Only 12 cars caught up to the safety car on this restart. So this should be interesting in terms of guys who can take advantage here. Frosty, FBL, Kipu, Bulugagi, their only chance for points will have to result in stealing any based on DNFs or just simply taking the fastest lap point, preventing anyone else from in the points taking it. But Hunted is right on the back of Bino, just pouncing for that race lead. He's just ever so close from taking it away. It's Bino trying to go for a second Tier 2 win. Hunted trying to return to victory for the first time since Season 10. It would be his 5th overall in Tier 2. But right now, we're not going to have DRS to decide this. It's all going to be down to the straight line speed and the battery and how you get out of corners with the traction. Hunted dumping the battery. Is this gonna be the day where he takes back another Tier 2 win? Here he goes, pulling out from behind, side by side. Further on back, JNT Gaming takes 5th place. He'll do enough to win the championship right now, but Bino holds on. Dom, Wavy, Valk, it's a 3-car kerfuffle here. 1 lap to go this time. And Hunted has just set the fastest lap. And will he go alongside here into turn 2 on Bino? He has the chance to do something here. He's just right in the back of him. Can't get close enough for this race lead. By the way, fair credit to Dill JG in contention for his first Tier 2 podium. He'll have something else to mention besides the 20K subscribers I mention every race to his credit. It's going to come down to this straight here. Coming up out of the long right-hander. JTK still in DRS, and JNT Gaming has comfortably got 5th place. Again, going to be enough here to win the driver's title. As for the constructors, nothing will be clinched tonight, but a lot can change. Here comes Hunted. Bino dumping the battery. Will it be enough? I don't think so. Third place is still up for grabs. JTK breezing past. Dill JG going to send one back up the inside. We'll flick back to this battle. Bino is going to come into the final corner with no force feedback. He's put on a clinic. He'll take his 2nd career RPL win. And JNT Gaming, who started his league racing career at 10 years old on the NASCAR Heat Games, he turned over to F1, and now he earns his first driver's title. And since returning to RPL just a few seasons ago, he's finally reached the peak of his career to earn his first championship. It comes tonight. He's the Season 12 Tier 2 champion. JNT Gaming has finally put it all together. Hunted comes home 2nd, JTK 3rd, and Dill JG just misses out on the podium. Good results from Dom, Wavy, even Valkyrie and Rapid Owen. Fastest lap at the end went to Hunted, but JNT Gaming, let's talk about this man, as we'll be inviting him for post-race interviews with the champion. Season 4, Tier 2 is when he joined RPL. He joined in as a back marker and underdog. You saw him a lot in those Season 6, Season 5, Season 7 Tier 1 races in an Alfa Romeo at the back of the Tier 1 grid when he got the call up to reserve. Took his first pole, took his first podium in Season 5, and this season, he's not had a single track limit penalty, and he won his first race after 10 podiums prior to it, won his 2nd race last week, and this week comes that almighty championship. 6 years after starting his league racing career. Well, here's your podium celebrations. We got Bino lifting the trophy. What a performance from him. He put on an absolute clinic in today's race, winning the Chinese Grand Prix. Hunted a really good effort to finish P2. I really thought he would have got redemption from what happened to him in the Tier 1 race here. He was just so shy of it. Took fastest lap for good measure. And JTK, who was 3rd in this race, doing what he can for Mercedes' constructors' hopes to stay alive and at least have a chance somewhat into next week. And Dill JG, just short of a podium for Ferrari in his first start with the team. Not bad at all. But some of my driver dated contenders before we get to interviews. We got Dom, Wavy, JNT Gaming with a good recovery drive. Bino as well. Those have to be my 4 drivers I'd probably put into selection for driver of the day. Dom, Wavy, they did that from not even getting a chance to qualify. Dom had the qualifying ban. Here's a run through your final results. Rapid Owen in the points, Valkyrie in the points. Tadpole came home P6. We only lost 2 runners from this race, just the 1 safety car, by the way. But my goodness, we have crowned a new Tier 2 champion. And it is the first of the American drivers to do it in Tier 2. We've had Skither, we've had Cookie do it. Now, JNT Gaming has risen to the occasion. Welcome along, JNT. Thank you for patiently waiting.
Fuck you.
Lovely start.
We won the thing, man. I mean, we did the thing. That's what we set out to do. And we did the thing. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
I would say so. So, take me through your run up to this point. You know, you've had quite a journey here. You know, I know you say it's not really much of a story, but it is, though. You were here back in the early portions of Tier 2, and you rejoined RPL just 2 seasons prior, and now you're a champion. How does it feel?
I remember back in the wee old days of the Xbox controller with the Mercedes car, we did things that we weren't supposed to do in that absolutely terrible W13. Which that thing was a piece of garbage, but we did that and then we came back. We did a very, I don't know, 9 podiums in a row is a lot. And then we had this race, which was the most fun I've had all season. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, we fucking won. That's crazy.
First league racing title overall? Question mark.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you started your league racing career on the NASCAR Heat Games
On a computer.
6 years ago, and you transferred over to F1 not far after that, and found a lot of people, found a lot of friends, found a lot of things that you've found over here, and I would say you reached quite the success since then. You had the pole, the first podium as well, back in Season 5. Obviously, like I mentioned, you left and rejoined, and since Season 10, when you joined at the end, you mentioned to me not having a single track limit penalty this season. What, up until this point, of course, when you spun on lap 1, what really were you able to do so right that you were able to get these 9 consecutive podiums, the poles, the first 2 wins, and of course lead the championship and now get the first championship?
I don't know. It's just driving, really, and learning what the wheel can do. Because this is the first time I had to lock in and try and get the most out of what I can do. And I've messed with some settings every single week. I've kind of learned more of what I can do to go faster. So, and then at Canada, I found what settings worked, and then I think last race or 2 races ago, the steering rate's really what got it to where I could be one of the fastest every race, which I didn't think was possible. But yeah, on top of that, it's just kind of, I came into it knowing that you gotta stay on track in order to win these things. That's how it goes. That's how it is. I finished 7th on track at Canada and still got 2nd because penalties, and that's what wins. That's what wins championships. That's what wins races. So even if I lose time, I back out at corners when I get warnings because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it in the end. And obviously, just trying to stay clean most of the time. I know today was probably an exception because my freaking teammate called me when the lights were going out on Discord. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that one, bud. But yeah, it's really just trying to stay consistent and having the mentality of don't screw up and just stay clean. Not necessarily win, but just stay clean and do the best you can without risking it all. So that's kind of how I did it, I think. Yeah.
And today's race, you said it was the most fun you've had in a while. What makes you say that? I mean, you recovered to P5 after a lap 1 spin where you had trouble. What made it so fun coming through the field like that compared
Man,
to usual?
it was just being around other cars, seeing just all the midfield stuff that's going on. I went side by side with Mike or whatever his name is. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. But we went side by side through like the turn 1 complex, whatever that's called. That was crazy. I thought we were going to wreck, but we didn't. And that was fucking awesome. And plus seeing, and like seeing how fast or slow some of the midfield guys are. It was fun. It was really fun. And I'm happy that I signed myself Sauber next season because I can get a lot more of that. And I thought I was maybe my enjoyment maybe been going down because I was fighting in the front, but this race kind of just cemented that I like battling other cars. Maybe it's not all about being in the front because it was a lot of fun today.
One other thing before I get to any conclusion questions or anything else that you want to talk about, since you're the champion now, you've got a lot of friends that have pushed you to this rate, whether it be from harsh criticism for good reason because they want to see you do better, close friends you've made within the community of RPL, or even friends of your own. What do you have to say about those guys who were rooting you on in Twitch chat tonight, in the voice chat that you were in, whatever it may be that has gotten you to this point? Have they motivated you to do better yourself with harsh criticism in the past, or whatever it may be, or even as well, just any tips that they've had for you? What has the difference made with those guys, even the guys here in RPL?
I mean, you always want to celebrate your successes with other people, right? That was kind of my motivator with this. I just wanted to have, good thing happen. We all kind of be happy about it. It's something we could talk about, something and getting faster. We could race together, and it could be fun, which it has been. And obviously, RPL being a team principal and all, I've gotten to talk to a lot more people than I did when I was just driving a few months ago, and I think I've integrated myself a little bit more, I guess. Which honestly has kind of been fun, Cookie's pretty chill, Catapult's pretty chill, there's a lot of nice people there, and it's gotten pretty fun just to talk to people and be around and race and have fun. Because that was my goal coming. When I came back, I just told myself, I want to have fun. I don't need to do good, I just want to have a good time. And I'd say we achieved that today. So, let's go.
Well, folks, there's your champion for the first time in RPL Tier 2, JNT Gaming 101. You going to have the #1 sticker in your car next season, maybe?
Hell no, I'm staying with the 5.
Just for Vettel, or just for yourself? Nah, I had to ask.
For a reason that Twitch doesn't need to know.
There you go. Alrighty. Well, you may have the #5 in your car, but 6 years ago, you started here, and I don't think you probably would have thought this was possible, but here we are.
I didn't want to see this started.
Hey, there you go. I didn't even predict it. I thought Bonkers was going to do more races than he did this season, and I thought he would have been the one to finally break through after so many second-place finishes. By the way, with that finish in P3 in today's race, JTK clinches second place in the Drivers' Championship, becoming the 12th,
Big dubs.
12th different driver to clinch second place in a Tier 2 championship. That's happened 12 different times throughout 12 seasons. I cannot believe that. That is absolutely insane. Well, folks, that shall be about it from us, and we shall see what happens tomorrow in Mexico. JNT Gaming, that's where you won your first race, Mexico tomorrow. How fitting for you to win the championship on the weekend that Tier 1 goes to the track you first won at here.
That was like a month ago. That wasn't that long ago. We're getting all sentimental. I still remember it like it was freaking yesterday. Because it almost was. But yeah, I guess it's pretty cool, for the headlines and stuff.
Yeah,
No,
that's fair to say.
Before we leave, fun fact about this. My first league race my first F1 league race was at China. And in that race,
Really?
I went a lap down because I sucked. And when I went a lap down, ghosting was off. So when Wild's RT92 tried to pass me, we made contact. I ended up on top of his car next to the pit wall. So I'm going to go do burnouts next to that pit wall and try and flip my goddamn car over.
You know what's funny about this? For those of you still watching, I heard this story earlier in the week, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke.
Happened. This is the thing that happened. It's not a joke. I was on top of his car. It may or may not have been sexual. It was not sexual.
Good. Either way. Well, I'm sure JNT Gaming is going to party hard. We'll let him get to that. So we'll mention where you should expect us to be for the next 2 weeks, folks. We've got a lot of content coming to the RPL YouTube channel, and much more from the... Yeah, that's you've heard me editing stuff in the background. It's okay.
The schedule. You posted the schedule. I've seen what's coming.
Right.
I can see the future.
Well, yeah, TP chat. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, another Out of Context is coming. That'll be the first one I think your voice is in. What's interesting, by the way, just for people to point this out, for people still tuning in, there's 8 of you watching. It was season 12 F2 that I was
I
doing my
remember
first
you
ever
bitching
races of
about that
RPL.
race, to be honest.
Yes, France. That was my first race. The party was unjoinable. You joined in the party just to race engineer there at the end. That's what's so interesting. There's a lot of these guys who watch RPL now as I commentate and as you race, who I used to race engineer back in the day. You have you, Sam Steed, F1 driver, Lando, and even Polo God. You guys who have race engineered, and now you're the first one of those guys to get to an RPL title, which is very interesting how the road has gone since then, though. July of last year, taking over as the number 2 commentator, and now not engineering anymore, and watching you guys race now, and commentating on that rather than engineering on it.
Long way,
And,
isn't it?
well, both of us. Both of us. It really is very interesting. Well, yeah, 7 of you watching. So let's just tell you guys where we are at next week and what the plan is for the rest of the week for the YouTube schedule for those interested. Bear with us, by the way, with getting the full standings out because Owen has exams, so that is why that is delayed just a little bit. I will continue to give bits and pieces of what should be the standings for drivers and constructors in the coming days. But for next week's races, you got Tier 2 in Japan, which will decide the constructors battle. I believe it might be a 3-car race.
I know that. Red Bull got 25, right? So they're probably still in it. No, I don't know if McLaren or Red Bull was ahead.
Got 2nd and 6th.
McLaren are probably still in it. I think it's still 3.
McLaren are still in it.
Probably pretty tight. So it's anyone's game.
Yeah, Red Bull with the win are still in it. McLaren, they're either barely in or barely out. So it's either a 3 or 4-way constructors fight, which is, I believe, the most we've ever had in RPL, which is insane. So yeah, that'll be next week in Japan for those of you interested. Same time as always, short qualifying as well. F1, their final 2 races will be in Mexico and Brazil. Brazil is next week. Mexico is tomorrow. As for the YouTube schedule, like I was saying I was going to mention, expect previous race starts at Brazil. Race highlights to continue at Tier 2 to finish that one out. And there was one more. Oh, 2 other videos. Out of context. Another out of context for the series, number 8. And the other video is the different ways to win. JNT, you've had 2 different ways you've won. You won on a last lap overtake and on a safety car restart by strategy.
I don't know. I consider it the same way to win, to be honest. I did the same thing.
We're going to be diving into... Yeah, we're going to be diving into Beatnik and the ways that he has won in RPL, since he's technically, as he names himself in the Discord, a retired merchant, because he has a job that interferes with RPL, so he's not able to race often anymore. And he if he does come back, it'll definitely be on a reserve stint, he said. So that'll be nice to look through later in the week, next week, on the YouTube page for RPL to see whether or not people like that series, different ways to win, because I have a different ways to lose series planned as well. Either way, we'll let you all go. And we have one more race to cap off the weekend, Mexico for F1 tomorrow. I'll be there with Titan Iron, and you've got the championship finale for the constructors fight in Japan next week for Tier 2. Well, that was it. I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, signing off, and thank you, JNT Gaming, our brand new and 8th Tier 2 champion, to join us for an interview and in the tier to win it. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one, or catch us tomorrow for Mexico F1. Till next time, goodbye.
Wear your seatbelt.